Good day. In the next few minutes, we're going to cover best practices for approaching generational diversity. By following a few best practices, we can reap the full benefits of having a very rich and diverse multi generational workforce and get ahead of any potential problems before they come up. I'm going to share with you a few things that we can do. Number one, adapt your recruiting strategies to accommodate multi generational hires. If you want to benefit from generational diversity, you need to be able to recruit people across different generations as well. In your job ads, be careful about using age discriminating terminologies. We recently recruited two seasoned Gen X for a because of their vast experience on a very specific skill that we were looking for. So be careful. Instead, craft your messages to appeal to a diverse set of candidates. Baby boomers might positively react to mentions of your company's industry awards or other successes, while millennials would care more about personal development opportunities and social responsibilities. Make sure to distribute your vacancies via a various array of channels, depending on where you can reach your potential candidates easily. Think about reaching to baby boomers via professional networks or referrals and ever connected Gen Zs via online campaigns. I think you might find more of the baby boomers and Gen X if you promote them in LinkedIn, if you promote your ads in LinkedIn. Do not underestimate the power of social media recruiting. The use of social media is common across all of the generations. Over 60% of people ages 50 to 64 use at least one social media site. Our most effective our current most effective method for campaign for getting med reps for a pharmaceutical company is Facebook. And there is another client whose best social media platform in attracting architects is LinkedIn. Encourage the candidates to ask a lot of questions during interviews to find out what they are looking for and what do they expect. Then you will be able to make an informed decision whether the candidate is a good match for your organization, company, or university. Number two, avoid making age based assumptions and stereotyping. I mentioned this already in the past. Stereotyping is the worst. And whether they're true or false, they're not doing anyone any good. As I shared previously, stereotyping was what kept a ridge between generations in this particular university that I talked to a few years ago. In order to take full advantage of your multi generational workforce, avoid making any assumptions or stereotyping based on age. Instead, talk to each of your employees and learn about their individual preferences and working styles. Regardless of our generation, we all have our own personal style. Number three, listen to your employees and find out what they want. Instead of making age based assumptions, that's being judgmental, about the needs of your employees, take the time to listen to each employee and find out what they want. This will open the lines of communication, help you work together more efficiently, and improve employee engagement. Employee engagement is very important. If you want a highly productive workforce, then your employees should be highly engaged. I recently had a talk with a group of 60 people selected by HR to represent all of the jobs within the company. It was an eye opener, a very welcome eye opener. This is for all generations represented in my one to one discussions. I've talked to boomers, I've talked to Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Zs across the company, and I had a sample of 60 people that I talked to over a period of a month and a half. It was an eye opener. They're not their characteristics are not defined by their generation. It's more personal. Number four, adopt varying communication styles. While boomer opts for phone calls, millennials prefer communications via digital methods through instant messaging or texting. The two younger generations are more likely to enjoy working in a collaborative manner. Because each generation has a different communication style, you should adapt various styles of communication with them. Learn what each employee's preference are and then adapt to that style. Whenever I have my alignments, I take this into account. When I'm aligning with a baby boomer, I do a phone call or a Viber call. When I'm aligning with a millennial, I do it via Microsoft Teams, video chat, or chat. So I try to adapt personally my alignments with the different generations of people who report to me. Furthermore, different generations can learn from each other. For example, MasterCard has been offering a one to one social media reverse mentoring program where young employees help elder ones familiarize themselves with the social media platforms. So, as a result, the younger generation was mentoring the elder generation about the digital world, social media, instant messaging, and all of that. The pandemic helped standardize our communication tools. Today, in the current company I consult with, all generations are using our key technologies, which are Zoom, regardless of generation, Trello, regardless of generation, Microsoft Teams, Google Calendar, and Microsoft Teams Calendar, again, regardless of generation. Refining your techniques for delivering feedback is also an important item. Gen X employees want to be left alone, while Gen Z employees want immediate, bite sized feedbacks for their performance. I have a Gen Z in my team whose favorite question is, how was I, Sir Jordan? How was my presentation, Sir Jordan? How's my report, Sir Jordan? How's my marketing concept, Sir Jordan? He always wants immediate feedback, which I give it to him. Next to adopting various communication styles, you should refine your techniques for delivering feedback and apply them based on the employee preference. Organizationally, we have what we call a span of control, meaning these are the number of people who reports directly to you. And according to a McKinsey study many years ago, that the most effective number of employees or direct reports that you should have is seven. So the maximum span of control is seven. And I made sure that for the last 20 years of my career, I work in an organizational structure that doesn't exceed the span of control of seven people. I can manage 800 employees, but my direct report is seven people. Now, since there are only seven people, I can easily adjust to their communication and feedback preference, thus making the relationship more effective. Taking a personalized approach will not only make employees happy, but make it easier to deliver effective, meaningful feedback. Remember, the feedback is not for you, it's for the other person. So if you're delivering it in a method that they do not prefer or they do not feel comfortable with, then you're not as effective as a leader as you think. Again, the younger generations have a more sensitive take on how feedback is delivered. Number six, assemble age diverse teams for projects. This is very nice. By creating an age diverse project teams, you can leverage the unique strengths of each generation while also encouraging team members to collaborate and build relationships with each other. Each generation brings something valuable to the table. Let's not leave anyone out. For instance, Gen Z employees might be aware of the latest technology and social media platform, while an experienced baby boomer might have a valuable knowledge of the industry that you work for. Actually, I mentor a good mix of generation. Currently, most, if not all, our cross-functional teams have a good mix of generations represented. When we come up with what we call CFT, or cross-functional teams, these are teams that we form to solve a problem, and we get people from different departments to be part of this team temporarily until they solve a certain assigned problem. I make sure that this team has always a good mix of different generations from the different departments. Generationally diverse teams are often more effective and faster at solving problems. We often have this in the company. The collaboration is often effective if it's diverse, and the output is amazing from my own personal experience. Establish employee retention practices. Employee turnover is very costly, and sometimes it is bad for morale, and it puts a strain on the company's day to day operations until a replacement is hired. By developing an effective employee retention program, you can address some of the pain points that cause employees to jump ship. Some of the most effective strategies for retaining talent, despite cross generational conflict, include fostering, promoting teamwork, improving communication, and building a mentorship program. Employee retention is a balancing act. The focus should be on potentiality and performance of an individual, not on the particular generation. Any questions at this point?